So we'll get right into it here on the Bitcoin MVRV Z-score chart we have here on bitcoinmagazinepro.com. Now this is going to be a pretty quick video. I'm just going to rally through why you shouldn't be trying to buy the Bitcoin bottom. Well, at least not exactly. A little asterisk next to that. Too many people are thinking in black and white, ones and zeros. Investing is granular. Analysis is probabilistic based. When we look at Bitcoin, we're probably closer to a bottom than we are further away from it. If we look at all the on-chain data, which I'm not going to focus too much on, we'll just look at the MVRVZ, we can see we're not too far from the cost basis of all Bitcoin investors, the average accumulation price. Now, fundamentally, this is buying when there's blood in the streets, when we get below this, but even the fact that we're near it means, again, we're not a million miles away. Dollar cost averaging, we're on chart, dollar cost averaging is one of the most suggested, the most encouraged forms of Bitcoin accumulation. Yet all I'm seeing in comments and on social media is, I'm going to buy exactly when we hit the cumulative value days destroyed, or the 200 weekly moving average, or this or that. Stop thinking like this. Think in probabilities. If we dollar cost average it in, and this was from 8 years ago, if I just quickly bring up TradingView, I'm going to spoil what we're going to cover in a second. 8 years ago was like in the middle of this bear market. It wasn't buying it like a good time or a bad time. When was it? Around exactly here. So when Bitcoin was around $9,000. At this point, most people probably heard about it. It was definitely mainstream. CME futures were out. We're not buying it at the exact bottom at these prices. We're buying at about a 50% discount. Of course, we went lower than that. But if you just blind dollar cost averages in from those prices, you massively outperformed. And I mean massively outperformed everything. Double that of gold, and gold went absolutely exponential. It didn't really matter if there were swings and roundabouts, ups and downs, turbulence and chop. Dollar cost averaging in worked, but on this channel, we tried to do a little bit better. We tried to even slightly strategically dollar cost averaging in. Now I'll go back to this. If you look at to where Bitcoin is in its cycle, when comparing versus silver, which is probably our most comparable asset right now. I know everyone points to gold, but we're talking about $35+ trillion asset there. Silver's much more obtainable in terms of surpassing in market cap gains in the next 1 or 2 cycles at around $4 to $5 trillion, depending on the exact underlying price. But if we measure Bitcoin, its relative ratio, its relative comparative purchasing power, not just against a debasing dollar, but against a comparable asset like silver, this is already the 3rd worst bear market in Bitcoin history. Already. We're down bad. People are capitulating. You can watch any of the content we put out recently to reassure yourself that a lot of the data is pointing towards us being closer to a bottom than we are further away from it. But I go to TradingView. We'll get over to my point now. Let's have a look. If we look at this data point, which is looking at, I hope you can see, how much time you had to accumulate the bottom and the top of Bitcoin given a range. Now, I initially did this analysis using a percentile range. So how much opportunity did you have, wrong button, to accumulate Bitcoin within, say, 5 or 10% of the bottom? But it didn't really work because Bitcoin's volatility is massively changing. If you look at Bitcoin in the first few cycles, we would have huge 50% swings like it was nothing. We're only 50% down, only 50% down from the highs now, which in relative terms is by far the lowest drawdown we've had of any cycle. But again, when we take into account the diminishing volatility, everyone says diminishing returns, not many people mention diminishing volatility. If we look at the diminishing purchasing power, relative comparable strength to other assets, then it gives us a better indication of where we may be. So rather than measuring using a fixed percentile term, I used the average true range, which is essentially the dispersion, the variance we see in the daily highs and lows in the Bitcoin price action over a given period. Now, what we can see if we zoom out is this average true range is significantly higher than it historically has been. But that's kind of misleading because that's based on the underlying price. So instead I made this, which is the average true range based on a percentile. So what we can see is Bitcoin does typically have these big volatile moves, usually to the downside, and we have these long, slow grinds to the upside. But this gives us a better indication of how Bitcoin's volatility is changing, because we can see by far the most volatile cycle was the first, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth. It's very, very consistent. So what I've done is look at how much opportunity you had to buy somewhat near the bottom or sell somewhat near the top based on this changing volatility. So again, I hope you can see this. If not, I'll try and zoom in a little bit in post-production. But what we can do, in fact, let me just make an edit. There we go. That's way better. So what this is doing is looking at the highest closing price and looking at how many wicks or opportunities on separate days you had to sell or buy at a given volatile distance from that top. So the most recent peak we had, and this is a year, so this wasn't necessarily you had to sell at the top or after it. You could have sold prior to that when we had these wicks to the upside inside, but given just a 1 ATR diversion, discrepancy, difference from that peak, you'd have had 12 separate days where you could have sold within 1 ATR range of that peak, which would have given you a selling range up to about $122,000, which seems high, but we'll get a bit further than that. Right now, bear in mind, you had 12 from around the start of 2025, earlier I gave it, up until the start of 2026. So you had a huge period of time where these gray lines are, they are a bit hard to see. Already, you've had 21 opportunities to buy Bitcoin in this lower range. Again, we might go lower than this, but we'll go into previous instances to show how this changes. If you can buy anywhere between $60,000 and $67,000, you're within 1 ATR, 1 volatility range of this bottom. Which again, if you look at actual dollar amounts, 4,000 difference, it's actually similar to the top because this scales depending on the percentage and volatility of the asset. But this isn't just true for this cycle. If we look at the last cycle, you had 35 days compared to 11 to sell the top. In the bottom, you had 27 days compared to 5 to sell the top. The cycle before that, only 9, but this was a tough cycle because there was some extreme wicks to the downside. But even still, you only had 9, so it matched. In the cycle before that, 2 bars to sell the top, 63 at the bottom. Cycle before that, 3 and 17. Now, this is based on 1, which is incredibly difficult. Very, very few people are going to be able to sell Bitcoin within such a small range from the peak. If I just go back here, this is a piece of analysis that I did a couple of years ago now, 2 years ago. If you haven't seen it, just the day you became a better investor. I analyzed every wallet on chain. I looked through the entire Bitcoin blockchain and looked at every active wallet, every Bitcoin address holding and accumulating Bitcoin. And we can see it was like millions of lines of data, analyzing every single one of these to see how many unique wallets accumulated Bitcoin at the bear cycle low and sold at the cycle top. Held through all the pullbacks, didn't do anything. There was one, flashed up quick. One singular wallet managed to accumulate Bitcoin at the lows and sell at the highs, which it'll say the percentage here, 0.00016 of active wallets and even smaller of all Bitcoin wallets at that time. I think it was something like you're twice as likely to be struck by lightning in the same year. It was ridiculous. You're not going to be able to do that. Let's go back to TradingView. If instead of working on 1 variance range, which is very, very small, very difficult to do, let's make it a little bit easier. 2 variance ranges. Let's have a look. So you still had 25 opportunities to sell in the most recent cycle peak, 45 to accumulate the bottom, 64 in the last cycle, 37 at the last. In 2018, 75 different days where you could have accumulated within 2 ATRs of the cycle low. And again, if you're looking at Bitcoin, waiting to accumulate, because this is 17.5% above the lowest closing price. If you look at 17.5% above the lowest closing price, you might think, well, I'm getting so much less Satoshis for my coin. But you look at anyone who bought in 2018 at $3,740 and think, well, he didn't buy it $3,181. No, it's absolutely crazy. And then it's even more true in every single previous cycle. But we can take it one step further. 3 ATR ranges in every single cycle. You had 125 opportunities in the 2018 bear market, only 33 different days you could have sold. In the most recent, well, the previous cycle, you actually had more days to sell, 73, because we had this weird double peak, which we'd never really seen before. But you still had 71 different days to buy within a 16% range of that bottom. And that includes wicks from all the way back here in June of 2022, all the way up to here until January 2023. Bottoms take a long time to form in the Bitcoin price action, and trying to catch the absolute peak or bottom is not only practically impossible, but it just doesn't make that much difference. If you look at the current cycle, you'd have had 53 different days to sell within that peak price range. We've already had 50 days to accumulate Bitcoin in this current bottoming range. Now, again, we could go lower. That's not the point. The point is, even if this range moves lower, you have a significant opportunity to buy Bitcoin within a 20% range of the bottom, and you don't have to time it to perfection. Now, you may be looking at the price now, it's $70,000, or its upper boundary, it's $75,000, and say, but that's a lot less Bitcoin than if I bought it 60K. If you look at the previous cycle, if you didn't buy at 15,760 and instead bought at 18,000, the difference in percentage gains goes from, if you manage to sell at this upper range, about 540%, which is monumental gains, to around, if you sold in the middle of that, about 600% to around 620, 630%. I got the calculator out because I couldn't do it in my head. If you bought at the upper range bound of this bottoming zone for Bitcoin and sold just at the bottom of this topping range bound, not at the peak or top, just in this topping range bound, you'd have made 84.37% of the gains compared to buying the exact bottom by making 540% returns as opposed to 640%. Now, for me, having 71 opportunities to bank 84% of the cycle returns, as opposed to stressing over trying to buy on one singular day to squeeze out 15% extra returns over the course of multiple years, is crazy to me. The risk by not accumulating at a bottoming range is far too great to not accumulate when the asymmetric opportunity is in your favor. Simple fact. As I said, short video today. There's not even going to be a summary because I'm not sure how long that's going to edit down to, but just watch the video. If you didn't pick up what I was trying to get across there, then just rewatch the video. But if you did enjoy this content, then again, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, consider becoming a site subscriber. Typical sales pitch stuff. Let me know your thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I stupid for aggressively accumulating at these prices? When the long-term holder realized price is coming up to around $50,000 and we need to buy at that exact price. Just think of the game theory involved in that. If everyone's waiting to buy at this exact one level, well, I'll just set my buy at $1 above that. But someone slightly more conservatively will set it $1 above that. It's probably why we'll never see something like the pi cycle top cross again, because it's worked so well historically. Everyone's waiting for that. So everyone's going to buy one day before it crosses, 2, 3, 4, 5 days before, however many days before it crosses, to the point where it won't even cross anymore. The markets have changed. Game theory is becoming much more prevalent. We're no longer competing against degen on degens, crypto, lifeless people sitting in basements just trading. There's now BlackRock and the world's biggest institutions hiring buildings full of analysts to analyze where the most opportune moments to scale into the markets are. And we're seeing treasury companies continue to buy. We're seeing ETF holders continue to accumulate. Bullish news consistently happening. And the amount of comments and threads and messages that I'm receiving arguing about a couple $100 discrepancy is just crazy to me. So as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.